Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. As you can't be surprised, we're already here again. You're listening to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley, and we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Get ready to escape the next hour as we break norms and build dreams today with Stef. I'm so excited to have you today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to lie. I was dancing a little to your intro because it's so catchy.
I saw you. I was like, me. Amazing. I'm so excited. Stef. I'll do a quick little bio, but then you can tell us who you are. What is happening? You can, okay. I don't know. Something techy. Per usual on a Monday. Everyone, please meet Stef. Stef is a personal branding coach who helps you attract your soulmate clients with more confidence and clarity in your personal brand. She takes the non-traditional approach for those who were never meant to fit into a box, blending the strategies and energetics of how to show up as yourself and share your zone of genius. I love it because I find in today's world, sometimes we get lost a little bit in the noise and we forget about kind of like our authentic selves. So I'm excited to dig in today with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for it. That's just the intro. I think that's
you have so much more to tell. You do so many more. So no, you do. Tell us more. I didn't do the whole long bio because I realized if I do the long bio, like, and then I pass it the torch over, they're like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, like basically I use the overall arching personal branding coach because my goal is to help you really show up in the world, how you want to show up in the world, and how it most authentically feels like you. And then in return with that, because we're business owners, helping you attract your soulmate clients. And the reason I specifically use the word soulmate clients is because, first of all, soulmate kind of gives you that indication that there's a little bit energetics behind it. But also, I believe that when we say ideal clients, dream clients, target clients, it's just a different energy. It's more like, hey, this is what I really wish we could work with. This is the person I wish we could work with. This is ideally who we could work with. But when I think of soulmate clients, it's the person who actually like fills us up the most. It basically is the person who we're more meant to work with. It's not always the easiest person, but it's the people that really are going to fulfill our life the most. So that's why I like using that term. And so everything that I do, from coaching, I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I've been like my whole educational background is marketing. I'm a photographer. All of those things are meant to really just, how do we get you to show up in the world as yourself, feeling good, and attract those soulmate clients.
I love that. And I love how you just dove a little bit deeper on like why you use soulmate clients, but I totally in the alignment of it. And I find too, when you first start a business, sometimes we get lost along the way and we just end up saying yes to all those clients that do show up the front door because we are, as entrepreneurs, are a bit panicky because bill to bill sometimes. Yeah. And so we say yes to the non-soulmate clients sometimes. And then when we start saying yes to all those individuals, we really forget who the ones that we're really looking for and the big why of why we started the business.
Yeah, totally agree.
I know I like even for myself, like looking back, the amount of times that I would just say yes and then they end up being like red flags too. And you're like, why did I say, like, you start like going backtrack.
Yeah. And like, so that's easy to say yes in the moment too, because we think we're a business. We need clients. We need money. Okay, go. Like somebody's asking for our services. And yeah, that's valid a lot of times. sometimes we just have to, like, frankly, have a paycheck client, right? But how many times do we say yes to a client and then, yeah, as you said, you kind of have to backpedal, you ignore those like gut feelings, or you don't even really know who you're trying to talk to. You're just setting this like huge wide net, and then you just really do attract everybody. But what if you started to curate your audience and really be intentional with that, so that those clients, not only do they pay you what you are asking for, they often journey with you a lot longer. So like, you know, I've got Soulmate clients who've been around like every stage of my business. And so it's been like over 10 years, right? And so, you know, in the long term, if you just spend a little bit more time to figure out who those people are, they actually end up saving you time.
Yes.
And they really fill your life up a little bit more. Or I think, like, I say fill up your life because my personal belief is that your business is supporting your life. And so the clients who come into your business should like give you all those warm, fuzzy feelings as well, right?
Exactly. Like, well, if you look at, if you're in like a 9 to 5 and you're like dreading the 9 to 5, and it's like you can't kind of really go away from it because it is your 9 to 5. But we really started a business to be in alignment to it and with the people that we were working with. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Maybe, I know you told a bit about your story and your background, but were you in 9 to 5 jobs, or did you just start off as an entrepreneur?
Definitely did the 9 to 5 job thing for quite a while. I think to not backtrack, like trying to think of how far I can backtrack, because I've been a business owner since technically I was 12. I was making ad revenue off websites. I had a Pokemon website and Sailor Moon website, and my Pokemon website had like 2,000 unique people a day, and so I was getting ad revenue from that when I was like 14 years old. And so I don't look that old, but this, to give you a little bit of context, like I'm 40. So like if you do the math and you actually do the statistics of it, I started on the internet making money when there was less than 3 people online in the world. And so that's when the journey started. So I've always been a business owner. I've always been making money on the side. But yeah, I had those 9 to 5 jobs, but as you and me have talked about a few times, learning later in life that you're neurodivergent, I realized that those 9 to 5s never worked for me, right? Like I always struggled with like staying at my desk for 9 to 5. I would find these jobs that like would actually let me wander. Like I had a city job that was a very catch-all job. So like, you know, I was the website designer, I was the social media person, I was their photographer. I was like everything communication related, to the point that it was like, okay, one of the reasons I picked this job, because if I go wander off for 2 hours doing my job, like taking pictures, people won't really notice, right? So yeah, those 9 to 5s didn't quite work for me. I remember one job that I had was like a call center, and I would cry. I would phone my mom crying every day because it was just so much pressure and so much like confinement to this like desk. And if you left your desk, you got in trouble. And anything that like you were like, okay, I have to do it this way, it's not gonna work. So I think I was born to be a business owner in that context, that like breaking those norms, as you say, right? Like it just, I think we get thrown into this, most business owners get thrown into it, not necessarily because they're like, oh, this is really, really what I want to do. It's more like I have to do it in order to fit my life, right?
Yep, 100%. Like I never would have 100 years from now or back then, like I wouldn't have thought I would have been like an entrepreneur, to be honest. Just like thinking about what was an entrepreneur. I wish, to be honest, the school system should have taught us a little bit more about entrepreneurship, because I think it probably would have like triggered my mind, like, oh, maybe that's what I should have always been. Because even thinking back in like the school settings, like I got everybody like woodwork class. Did you ever do woodwork class?
Yeah.
And metalwork. I was so scared of all the things. I was scared because our like teacher would be like, you're going to chop your fingers off and all the, I was like, I don't want to touch it. So I recruited people from the classroom to do my work for me. And I remember my teacher being like, Brittney, like, you're supposed to do the job. I'm going to give you a B. I can't give you an A because I know so-and-so did the project. I'm like, A for effort.
Right? Well, that's just it. Like, if you really look back on your life, like, are any of us actually surprised what we do?
Yeah.
Probably not. And that's where it's like, okay, like if you truly are like following what maybe you're in is supposed to do, and that doesn't mean that you can't ebb and flow. Like, even though I work in personal branding, like my business has evolved so much over the last like 6-7 years, and as I said, like my whole life. But like, really, if you look at an entrepreneur and you're like, what do you do? And then you ask them a little bit about their childhood, about their life, about their challenges and all that kind of stuff, it's never going to be a surprise, right?
Mhm.
Like, one of my favorite stories to tell is like when I was little, I used to color on the walls, and it would drive my mom crazy, obviously. That's the thing I got in trouble with the most. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like here I am 3 or 4 years old coloring on the walls. Are we surprised that I ended up as like in a creative industry, like as a graphic designer and then a photographer? No, no. I had to express myself through color. And now like it's literally my job is to help people find their brand colors of expression, right?
Yes.
So
I love
I
it.
love that you're already bossing people around when you were
Yeah.
in woodwork.
But it was like in a very nice leadership style.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. And now you have an agency. It's
well, even
great. I
too,
love it.
I realized early on that people would pay a lot more for you to dog sit than taking care of their kids. Because I started in the babysitting realm. And then I remember like I think I was taking care of 3 kids. And I just had this instinct of like, you know what? I think I'm just going to transition to just dogs and end up getting paid maybe twice the amount to take care of this. Like, I think it was a beagle. Yeah, it was a beagle. And compared to the 3 kids. So I just naturally just went over to this side, and I was making bank just taking care of this one little dog. It was like their kid, right? So anyone that they would leave or trust with them, give them like everything. So I end up transitioning that side of it. So like, yeah, like you're saying, like if you really look back at your patterns and how you kind of like led in certain ways or jumped in to do certain things differently than others, you can
Yeah.
kind of see a pattern.
Yeah, everything is patterns. Like, everything is patterns. Everything in business is patterns. Everything in attracting clients is patterns. Everything in what you do is patterns. And like, basically how you show up in the world is either a pattern that you're expressing that you like, or a pattern that you need to break so that you can do exactly what you like, right?
Yeah.
And like, this even with like money patterns and stuff, but like that's like a huge part of my job is like, what are your patterns? Like, what do you keep doing that's not working? And where does that come from? So I love that this conversation was like childhoods, because so much of our behaviors and patterns come from childhood and then show up in these businesses that we are creating.
Absolutely. Well, going into, because I know you offer a few different services, maybe you can, photography, maybe you can just highlight like what you do. Photography, is it headshots, family shoots? I think it was mostly just headshots, right?
Yeah, so because it's under the personal branding umbrella, I focus on headshots and personal brand development, so content and really expressing who you are. But my background in photography, I've done it all. I've done the weddings, I've done the families, I've done it all. And now really, like, even in my business, and especially moving forward, a lot of times I'm doing photography as just an overall, hey, we're working on your brand, by the way.
Yeah.
I've got all this, like, I've done photography for so many years and I know who you are and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I like to sit. And even though we can do those like studio headshots and everything, I really love like curating this like perfect for you environment of like, again, what is going to appeal to your soulmate clients, right? So that's what I do for photography. Yeah.
I was actually just like, because to get your links or whatever, I do love what you do, especially like when you're working with real estate clients. I find sometimes they think like they just need to get like the same old kind of shot. And so when I talk to, when I talk to my clients, I'm like, no, like we're not like, I'm trying, like, it's like as if you're in the 80s, right? Like we're not trying to shoot for those kind of styles. Like they need to see your personality through the lens, like of what's happening on the other side. And like, if you love to be in coffee shops, like let's go do some shots there. Or if you love to go take your dog for a walk, let's do some shots there. So it's not just like the standstill kind of same shoot that everybody else has.
No, not at all. And because because I'm not just a photographer, I like to bring a lot of those other elements in too. So like, even if you're just doing like a half an hour session with me, I'm going to be like, okay, like we're going to use like hypnosis techniques to actually envision yourself in front of your client, or even maybe on vacation, so that your actual body relaxes and gets into the moment like a movie. And then naturally you connect better with your audience, right? Or like really looking at the big picture. Like I recently did photograph a realtor who I asked her, I'm like, your photo's beautiful. I think it's really nice. And she was very well put together, and her makeup was really perfect, and her hair was perfect, and all that kind of stuff. And again, it's a great image. And I'm like, but who's your client, right? Are you looking for that client who is looking for the perfect realtor? Are you looking for the client who is maybe looking for somebody a little bit more relatable? Okay, so what does that look like in your imagery, right? And so I think that a lot of people aren't bringing in, even for something like photography, the bigger picture. It's just like, I can take a nice photo, we can make you look great, and we'll put it out to the world. And will it do it well? Yeah, probably. But what if you're just even more intentional with that, right?
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true, because an image can speak thousands of words. So how you're wanting to show up to and show up that authentic side of it and talking to the ideal client, I think you do such a great job of that.
No, thank you.
Well, I know you briefly touched about I can't say that word, hypnosis.
Hypnosis.
Maybe you can kind of, for any of our listeners who don't know what it is, maybe you can just say what it is. And then I know you have some great certifications behind you to get there.
Yeah. So I love that you brought that up, because so much, just a little backstory is like, I have spent the majority of my career being a photographer the last 15 years. But like so much of that has made me realize what's missing before, right? Like when we talk about the things like, who is your client? How do you want to show up? Even the colors you wear matter, right?
Yep.
And so I was realizing all that stuff was missing. So I was like, cool, my branding knowledge can come to the table here. And then about 6 years ago, I got trained in hypnosis, which hypnosis is really just a focused state of awareness. It feels like meditation a little bit, but really it's like we're in and out of hypnosis all day long. We're in and out of trance all day long. And really it's just, if you're a neurodivergent and you ever get hyper focused, you're in a trance state. And trance state is just what hypnosis gets you into. And so what it does, it basically helps you tap into your unconscious mind, which is the part of your brain that runs everything. Like it's the thing that tells you to breathe so that you breathe, but you don't have to think, hey, I need to breathe. It's also the thing that holds every single, as we were talking about, pattern and every history of pattern that you've ever had in your entire life. So when you wonder, hey, like, why do I always get these like really weird feelings every time I'm about to get on camera? Like, where does that come from? Right. And so that's an unconscious pattern that unravels throughout your life. You learn it from a child. Maybe when your parents took you to Sears and you didn't like photos or that kind of thing, right? Or it comes from like an unconscious pattern of a fear of being seen and those kind of things, right? So I was realizing that a lot of this stuff, like a lot of the issues, a lot of the complaints when people were coming in front of my camera were things like, I don't feel good in this moment. I don't like the way I look. I am scared. I feel awkward, all those kind of things, right? And so I'd gotten trained in hypnosis for myself to actually help myself with anxiety and stress and figure out my own brain, because back then I didn't know I was neurodivergent, and I was just like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
So then I was realizing in my photography sessions, oh, wait, let's use some of these techniques to help people actually work through them.
Yeah.
And show up in front of the camera. So now, fast forward 6 years later, I'm certified in hypnosis, and then I got master certified. And I'm about to actually, starting next week, take another certification in hypnosis. So I have a lot of hours.
Really me.
Pardon?
I think that's what you and I get along.
Yeah, totally. Let's get been fighting then. And so as evolved with coaching, because my background is a lot of, like, I'm trained in neuro-linguistic programming as well, master certified in that. And then there's like a style of hypnosis called timeline therapy, which is kind of a mix of NLP and hypnosis. But really, I like to just say I do hypnosis because it's just really tapping into your unconscious mind. And so over time, I was like, you know, helping people with brand colors, helping them with their marketing strategy, helping them with their photography. And I'm like, wait, let's do all this mindset stuff. And then, so moving forward from this point, even just in the last month, now I start to just do hypnosis for people. I've done this for 5 or 6 years, but now it's starting to be a really big part of my brand because a lot of people talk about marketing. A lot of people talk about how to show up. A lot of people talk about like affirmations and all that kind of stuff. Or even like there's a lot of people marketing now. And so like I want to work with the people before all that and all those stories that you tell yourself, or even like figuring out like your values in your business. This is going to all be done through hypnosis. And even like a lot of people who are trying to achieve goals in their business, if you do it through a hypnosis process, so like seeing yourself experiencing success, your brain gets the information as if it's done it before. And so the more your brain thinks it's possible, the more likely it will happen. So really, it's a lot of visualization. It's a lot of just walking you through the process. Unlike what people think with like show hypnosis, you're never going to cluck like a duck unless you really want to. It's just really a chance to tap into exactly what you want, right? Yeah. And it's usually just feels like a nice meditative experience, but just very guided and intentional. And as a trained hypnotherapist, I can be like, okay, this is what you're looking for. Okay, let's talk to your unconscious mind to make that happen.
I do like that. And because we live in such a world of a lot of noise, like I did some branding for somebody like a while ago for logos, and she was creating her own brand, getting away from a partner. And so we went through this, I kid you not, like 3 to 4 months. And this is like along the guidelines of when I was doing my business coaching certification. And all of a sudden, like I was hearing her say these things and I was like, can I pause for a minute? You're saying you're making us do X, Y, and Z, but I'm hearing this. In essence, can I just ask you a question? She's like, sure. I was like, I think we're doing the exact same logo,
Yeah,
same branding, and you just maybe want a tweak of one extra color. And she's like, yeah, that makes actual sense. I'm like, oh my God. We did like 7 or 10 different logos, and we just end up going back to the same logo.
Patterns, right? And
but no,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like so much of us as business owners use like these mindset techniques, and maybe we're not even aware of this, but the fact that you just noticed a different pattern or even the same pattern, the fact that you even noticed that she had a pattern, you were able to slightly break what was going on there and reconfigure it for her, right? And so I think that's so cool. But yeah, like a great example of people love their patterns, whether or not they realize them and whether or not they're helpful for them. So if you can go through some of these experiences and be like, you know what, this is not helpful for me anymore, let's change it. And it's not like we have to fix ourselves. It's just, this isn't working for me anymore. Or maybe this is working for me, but how can we do it better? Right?
You and I were just talking about one of the podcasts that you did. So I can totally see where it kind of went into the, like a soulmate relationship piece, because really, like if you think about relationships too, like we sometimes get stuck in a pattern, like going back to patterns, sometimes falling into the same mechanisms of going in a bad relationship.
Yeah, totally.
Why? It's like digging back into it, right?
Yeah. So I love to use the example of how I met my husband, because that's a very good example of being intentional. And then we can apply it to the same thing with business. So funny enough, I actually went to a psychic and before I met him, because I had just got out of a terrible relationship, like a very damaging, trauma-induced relationship. And I was like, I need something better. I want to find my person, that kind of thing. And so I went to this psychic and all she said was, this person you're going to laugh with. you're just going to laugh with. And that lit me up. And I was like, yeah, like that's what I want in life. So I was looking for this person who's going to make me laugh. Now we talk about like energetics as in you're just like, hey, universe, this is what I want. But now let's talk about how do we actually make it happen? How do we leave space for it?
Yeah.
And so with my husband, what I did is I owned my own townhouse at the time. And in my master bedroom closet, I cleared out half the closet. Had I even met him yet? No. I just cleared out half the closet and I said, this is making space for somebody. And then when I met him, this person made me laugh. And I was like, you know what? This is what I wanted. Right. And so I recognized that's what I was looking for. But I still did the work of making space for him. So like soulmate clients work exactly the same way, where you have to know what you're looking for. So maybe that's your regular checklist, but I do it from a point of view of like, what does it actually feel like to meet this person? And then you also have to do the strategy around it. So you still have to market. You still have to put yourself in places that this person might be and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like when we think about soulmate partners, it's exactly the same thing. You know, you have your list. You have to be flexible within your list, just like you have to be flexible within your soulmate clients. And I believe that just like brings me to this like ADHD segue of like, it's like, you know, we constantly are trying to find these ideal clients based on this checklist. They are this person, they do this thing, they are doing this in their life, this is how much money they make. Now, if you apply that to your romantic partner, I don't know if the last time any of our listeners here have dated or remember that process, but if you had that strict list, did it ever work? Are you with the person that checks every single box off your perfect list? Probably not. So why are we doing this with clients? Instead of how do they fill us up? What fulfills us with them besides our bank account? Right?
And sometimes you're just so tunnel visioned, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like going back to patterns. Like we tend to be stuck in the patterns. We are humans, and I think we just naturally like for me, like I like my dedicated parking spot. Like I know where it's just. I was just listening to the radio too, and they're like, it's really what's the most popular places that's a pattern in your household. It's where you sit at the dinner table, and where you sit on the couch as a family. Like everyone has their dedicated spot, and it doesn't. And it's weird if the pattern changes. It's like, oh,
yeah. I thought my husband just calls me Sheldon because I'm so specific about my spots on the couch. And we used to have a different couch, and then we moved into this place, and it didn't quite fit. So our old couch, I had a very specific spot. My pillows had to be specific. My blanket had to be specific. If he sat in that spot, I knew he sat in it because it would change. And so probably a little Sheldon-esque, but like, let's be honest. I love that's my neurospicy coming out. But like this one, it's like, yeah, like we both share the two main spots, and it's kind of weird. And even then, like when I'm sitting in one of the spots, I'm like, I'm still sitting in my husband's spot. So it's funny that you say that. And yes, I have my own parking spot. And if he were to ever park in it, I'd be like, excuse me, why are you in my spot? Right?
I'm so angry. I'm like, no, this is my spot.
Yeah.
Every now and then, like, change it up. We're already midway through the show. So anyone listening right now and or just tuning in, welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. We're live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. I told you it would go by super fast.
Right? Well, we always have good conversations.
We do. I wasn't worried about today.
No.
I know because you and I are going to a very similar event coming up on November 28th. So anyone listening here on Vancouver Island, I don't even remember the name of it. The branding shoot.
Brand shots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With Pam, and you and I are both speaking. I'm speaking on the side of it, the imposter side, and you're doing like the combo-ness of it with that note. If anyone's listening, maybe you can like do some teasers of like how you're going to be shining your speaking piece.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this event. And one of the things that my challenge internally was, how do I show up to an event with a lot of people talking about the same stuff. Like we're all going to be talking about brands. We're all going to be talking about photos in one way or another. So here's a little sneak peek, is that I am going to do a little bit of a, how does it feel like to meet your soulmate client, and then use that information to then put it into your marketing. And because this is brand shots, so it's photography, I'm going to give a little insight to how do you do that and translate it into, say, brand photos on location. So like your coffee shops, your outdoor locations, right? And so it's not a super long speech or super long talk. So I want to really focus in. I know it's going to be a lot of strategy. It's going to be a lot of like basically conscious decisions in your business. So I'm going to take a little bit more, how do we tap into those unconscious feelings of what it's like to work with a soulmate client? And this is a process I use with almost every single one of my clients. It's on the fly. It takes like 10 minutes. It just teaches you to recognize what it feels like to meet a client, and just take a chance to ask your unconscious mind, hey, who do I actually want to work with? So we're going to do this live at Brand Shots. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited just to meet people there too.
I still need to push mine. I don't have anything yet. I can't share anybody with It's true ADHD stuff. Right? Like seriously, like I don't know what it is. Like the aha moments this year of like, wow, Brittney, that's pretty much ADHD right there. Right? Yes. Like, and I don't like public speaking too, right? Like I like to like really prep. So I like opened up my computer yesterday and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm like, maybe tomorrow.
Right? Yeah.
We still got time.
When I speak, or even when I think of like, you know, jumping on this podcast, it's like, what can I control the timing of something, but still easily talk about it? Because I'm not somebody who can like write a speech and then rehearse it and then deliver it. I really depend on like, what is the audience doing? I want to be able to pivot. You know, it's easiest for us to get carried away in what we're talking, you know, like even here, it's been half an hour already. Right. But like, for me, it was like, I haven't done a lot of speaking in front of a lot of audiences, but I've done enough, like just in my group programs. Yeah. And I was just like, what's going to be different from everybody else that's going to be there? And what's easy for me to deliver without thinking, how long is this? How hard is this? And then even like I was taught a format and how to do speaking, which is just basically tell them why they want to listen, why they should listen to you. Tell them your credibility, so who you are, basically. Tell them what they're there to listen to, and then follow up with questions and explanations. And it's like, I do that in every time I speak. And that's a little hidden nugget. I even do it in networking, which we're both in part of the same networking group. And so now that like you know that I run a format, you're probably gonna be like, right?
No, I love it, because I think too, like a lot of us get nervous when we are not just in photography or being in front of the lens, but when we're networking too. A lot of us can be introverts, extroverts. I know I am. And like, that's one of the talks that I just did a few weeks ago. Like it was on imposter syndrome, but I talked a lot too about the confidence and how we show up in the room, and also how you put out the energy that you want to attract. And so sometimes if you are introvert, extrovert, sometimes that energy can take a lot from us when we go into a room that's even twice the size, and you're like, oh my God, like, where do I go? I don't see anybody that I know. And then you start like psyching yourself out a little bit. So it's like, how do you slowly bring up your confidence a little bit? And it's okay to give yourself that space and the boundaries to move to the side and like reevaluate your thoughts, take a minute to breathe, and just like gauge the room of where you can go next. So that was mine on like imposter syndrome / owning the confidence in the room. But like, I know for myself, like I have those moments, especially being part of like the chamber. Like I have to be really like out there sometimes. And I do need a minute to like, okay, take a minute, breathe, and let's go again.
I completely resonate with that. Like, I was in a business networking international, so BNI, like, when I first launched my wedding photography business full time. So that would have been like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got invited to this networking thing because I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing this entrepreneurship thing full in. And so this was all before all my hypnosis training, my NLP training. And like, this was a weekly meeting that I would almost throw up before every single meeting. I would shake during 1 minute, even after like weeks of training, that kind of thing. And like, it would take me days to recover. So a 1 day a week and then days to recover. So like when people meet me now, if I say to them, yeah, you know, I'm pretty introverted, they're like, sorry, what? And so my thing is always like, okay, well, how do you recharge? But also like confidence, and I'm sure you speak to this, is like, it's a learned behavior, but it's also addressing like what's going on behind it. So I like to say like, you just got to do it, but also you can use techniques to help you get there. So like if you're speaking and you need some confidence or something, if you have a time that you remember that you were super confident, like even think of like when you were a kid and you were like flying off the swings. Like you remember when you're little, you just had no fear whatsoever. Somewhere along the lines, we learned fear, right?
Yeah.
So like, even if you can tap into that moment of like, before you go on stage of like, if that's an event that like, to me, that's a very vivid memory that I was little and I was like swinging back and forth and I would fly off the swings and I like land perfectly. That was a lot of confidence. And so like, I actually put myself back into my body as if I was that like 7-year-old and remember what it feels like to feel that confident. And then it actually like builds up in your body because your body remembers what that feels like. And then you go out and speak.
Like that. Yeah.
And so like stuff like that really goes a long way. But honestly, it's just, you got to keep doing it. Right.
You just made me think of like you made me think like, when was that for you? For myself. And I just messaged my girlfriend, Julie. We've known each other since elementary school. And I was watching like Celine Dion randomly on my phone. And I messaged her and I was like, laugh out loud. Do you remember when we went in the talent show and we did it to Celine Dion? I can't remember what it was. I'm like, I'm doing the moves right now. And she's like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. Like, why did we embarrass ourselves?
Yeah, but in the moment, you probably weren't embarrassed.
No, I thought it was the coolest person ever. Like, look at these moves. And you know what? We didn't even move.
Yeah. So I wonder what it would feel like for you.
Yeah.
Like I want to test you on this. So next time we have our like networking meeting or next time you have like a speaking.
Want me to show you my moves?
Please. Or at least like imagine like just go into like the bathroom by yourself and like just do the moves and see what it does for your body and then go like give your speech or like at least like your little pitch or something. Yeah. And it's like, see what the difference is. Like, I'm just curious. Maybe that's your unlocked confidence event.
Maybe.
And like how it like changes. Now, the thing is, you can't go with like I noticed that you said like embarrassed after or whatever, or that was embarrassing, but it really wasn't in the moment, right? It's
no,
like,
Julie, you're laughing. Julian, like laughing, crying. Like Julie's mom, like tried to warn us so many times not to do it that we could have done like a more of an upbeat song. It's like a very slow version of Celine. It's so. I can picture us on the stage right now, and I'm like, why?
Also, like, but you were fully you, right? Like, isn't that what this whole like spiel is about? And business is about is like we're all trying to just like be these people that everybody's gonna like, but like when you just switch on your weird and you just switch and you just stop caring and like I don't say stop caring because you can't just like go out and like be obnoxious and rude and all that kind of stuff just because that's who you are. But like if we just take off some of those filters, sometimes we actually really draw the people in that really are just waiting for that to happen. Like I even think back to my husband and that dancing made me think of that because the night that my husband and I really clicked and then we started dating the next day was Halloween and I was drunk. I don't even drink anymore, but I was drunk at my friend's house. He was there and I slow danced, belted out an Adele song.
this. Yeah.
the full thing and like fully danced it out, like not any real dance. It was just like feeling into the music, and it was obnoxious.
Yeah.
And my husband was like, okay, she's for me.
I
Right.
love it. Yeah.
And so like, maybe you need to bring some more Celine Dion back into your life.
Right. I was seriously like telling my husband, and I was like laughing. He's like, I can't remember what he said. Anyways, he's just kind of like, oh geez. I love having like lifetime friends, because you like random things like that pop in my brain, and I tell, like, they don't remember it sometimes, and I have to like remind them. They're like, how do you remember that? I'm like, I don't know, it just came into my brain.
Your unconscious mind stores it.
Just popped in.
Right.
It's
I love that.
Well, just even like thinking even further, like I used to do a lot of dance recitals back in the day. I used to be in dance. Don't remember it too much, but I do remember my girlfriend, who I'm still friends with, Tiff. We did a lot of dance I remember the outfit, like a tee. It was like a cheerleading outfit, all white with the letter B on it. I don't know if it was for Brittney or if they were doing something else, but I do remember like certain things. She's the one who helped me like break out more, I'd say, like with the confidence and like being funny, because she's hilarious. Love her.
I mean, you know, that's the best part though. Like those friends that you just have these memories with, or you can laugh, or even like you and me have not really known each other very long, but I feel like we can chat for hours because we just like giggle and we connect and we laugh about these things, right?
Yes.
And it's like, you know, I'm just glancing at the title of like Soulmate clients, and that's what brought this to me, is like, are you bringing that energy into like your clients? And maybe that's just my personal philosophy, because I work from a personal brand point of view, so it is putting yourself out there. So you kind of do want to have some of those clients that you can laugh with, you can have some fun with. And some people might say, well, I don't want to be friends with my clients. And that's totally fair. Personally, I like being like, there's still that work boundary thing going on. But really, like, wouldn't you want to have these laughing conversations with your clients while you're working together?
And it's like that,
right? Like, or like, so you have to share these weird things. Like, I would love to see you talk about like a little bit of your dance, and maybe like somebody pops out of nowhere and be like, I was a dancer, and then all of a sudden you have this great conversation, and maybe you end up using each other's services or something. Like, that's how things start, right? Like
100%.
I think of so when I was a wedding photographer, I think 4 or 5 of my clients came from this wiener dog group that I ran. So I have a Dachshund, a wiener dog. You can probably see her behind me down on the floor there.
You can notice.
Yeah, she's down. She's down there. She's sleeping right now. And so I ran this group. It was like a monthly meetup over in Langley when I was living there. And I just wanted to like socialize my dog, and I wanted to see other wiener dogs. And from that, because it was like a mutual interest, I got 5 weddings out of that. I got portrait sessions out of that. And I've even gotten a couple, like, now that things have changed, like hypnosis sessions out of it. Yeah. And that wasn't my intention. Actually, even my husband and I met because we both had a wiener dog. His parents had one, and I had mine, right? And so like these mutual interests and stuff do matter, right? And that's 100%. Like, it's the same as when you make a friend. You're like, I like that, and you're like, I like that. Let's be friends. And so with clients, it's like, I need this. Oh, I can do this. Okay, well, what's the deciding factor between me and somebody else? Well, we both like wiener dogs, or we both like dance, or we both have weird Celine Dion history. You know what I mean?
Weird, I just like feel like in my past life I could have been like I just know all the weird like oldie music. Like I don't know where it came from. Like I know everything.
That's funny. That's funny. I like it.
It's so true though. Like, and like I know for me personally, like with my clients, I want to be able to have like life is too short to just be like can we just laugh at the moment?
Yeah.
Like there's some clients that are very like work with high executives, and I always just like, I'm like, I'll make you laugh after this call. Like it's like my mission, just to make you laugh, even if it's one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all about what business do you want, right?
Exactly.
Like I just hosted my first retreat, and so it was
What was
personal brand.
that?
Oh, it was amazing. It was a personal branding retreat, and so we talked about everybody's business. I did like a hypnosis for releasing anything that's not serving you in your business, and then I was also doing like these micro coaching sessions, and every single person was different. So it was like one person, like we pointed out some childhood trauma she didn't realize, like gently, obviously it's not like we just triggered her, she was ready for it.
Yes.
And then another person like was like, what I post on Instagram, and then like another person was just like, oh, like what should I focus on today? Or another person was like, I keep charging nothing for my services. So it was just like all these different coaching things in the moment, and it was just time to like really kind of casually talk to their business. And then when they weren't talking to me, they were all talking to each other. So they were having breakthroughs with each other, because these are all people with different backgrounds, different businesses, different knowledge, right? And so it was this beautiful weekend. I say weekend, even though it was during the week. But it was 3 days. And we hung out by the ocean in Parksville. I took a few photos just for fun. And it was like hanging out with 9 of my friends while we all made more money, because while they paid me to be there, they all walked away with big breakthroughs in their business.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I could never have done that with a bunch of random people, or a bunch of people who were just like, meh, you want to come work on your business? Like that just would not work. Right. And so, that's a really good example of like having these people in your world that you just connect. And then all of a sudden you're like having these, like, that was a pivotal moment in my life of just being like, wow, like this is cool. But yeah, so now I think I'm going to have more retreats.
I know. I was excited to hear more about how it went, because I can't remember. I couldn't make it through that time. I'll have to try to make one.
Yeah, you were at an event right after it.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't remember. This
right?
year's
We'll have so many events. I love events.
I went to Vancouver, flew over there twice, 3 times over the year, which is not like, I'm like, I don't want to go to Vancouver if I don't have to kind of person. I'd rather the island. I'm such an island girl. Vancouver just like stresses me out, but I'm just trying to like build more connections out that way. So trying to push myself a little bit out of the comfort zone. I'm such a homebody, I've realized, but like literally like this last 2 weeks, I went out and bought so many candles and like cozy socks. And my husband's like, I think you have enough socks. I'm like, I just want to go back and get one more black pair. I'm in my cozy era.
Yeah, actually, I love that you say that, because I was out yesterday with my husband, so that was Sunday, and like I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and like my hair is just up. This is just how my hair is all the time, pretty much. Yeah. And like I just look like so comfy. And even 5-6 years ago, I probably would have put jeans on at least. And I'm just like, I'm in my comfy era. And to be honest, I've put this on, but I am totally wearing sweatpants right now. And like,
I love it.
I like, you know what? There's no reason for me to try and like there's no, like, if I'm say doing like a hypnosis at like a clinic or something, I might dress a little bit more up for that. But like, no, and my people are in their cozy era right now, right?
Yeah.
Like we just want to be comfortable. We don't look slobbish. We just want to be comfortable. And I think that's fair, right? Like there's the world's pretty intense. It's okay if your pants aren't too tight.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. I love it. I always just wear it because I'm always dropping the kids off or picking them up or chasing them. So mine is just like yoga pants, but just like they're comfy though. And every now and then I'm like, I guess I'll have to put on jeans.
Right.
Break up just a little bit. We're almost at. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, you remember when everybody started wearing yoga pants and it was like this big faux pas, like, how dare you wear yoga pants? And now it's like yoga pants are actually pretty nice. And they just look like black slacks half the time.
Right? I would say at least, I bet all of us have at least 2 pairs in their closet. At least 2. But that, at least like on Vancouver Island, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about the other parts.
Well, I just moved back here. I say back here because I lived here for a few years. Like, this is where I started my photography career, actually. But I just moved back 4 months ago, and we are so island people already. Like, even my husband's never lived here, and we had to drive 10 minutes yesterday. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's so far. We used to drive like 45 minutes to an hour, like daily, because we lived in Langley, so we weren't super close to Vancouver, but close enough. So we were always in Vancouver, and like just across Langley, it takes half an hour. And now it's like if I go from West Shore, so Colwood, where I am, all the way down to like downtown Victoria, that could be like 35 minutes, and you're like,
Well, the unfortunate thing too for us, we don't have the proper infrastructure now for how big we've gotten. So like, even if it could, because it used to take at least 20 minutes, but now with more cars everywhere, it can take at least 30 to 40 minutes. So I usually try to like meet people in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, meet at Tillicum-ish area, or I just won't go.
Yeah, but that's something that's different about the island is like, it's the same in Vancouver. Like, it used to take like 20 minutes to get from Langley to Vancouver, and now like it's 45 minutes to an hour sometimes. So it's the same, like, infrastructure wise. But just moving over here to the island because life moves slower, which I absolutely love. Also, driving feels longer. And so, everything's gone longer here too, but it's like, it's just everything's slower. So that 10-minute drive feels like forever. But when I was in Vancouver, it was like 10 minutes, just like, it's only 10 minutes, bud. Right. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying the slower life, except when it comes to driving, because you're like, or when people get back to you, like sometimes we're like, if we're doing things on our house, it can take like 3 times as long just for somebody to get back to you and all that kind of stuff. But I'm finding that even with myself, like, I take longer to answer emails, like texts and stuff. And I'm like, I'm in my slow era.
Yes. Cozy /
cozy. Yeah. Cozy.
Yes. Maybe we all are in, because I feel like everybody, maybe it's just coming up to the times too, because we're almost at like Christmas break and all the things. Like, the kids will be out of school pretty much like all of December. They're going to probably be home-ish, right? So I feel like my brain's already like gearing up for it, of like vacation mode.
Well, also, like, just look at the world around us. Like, we've been hit so hard from every direction. Like, life has always been hard, but we live in an era where you hear about it every day, all day, because we're online.
100%.
And so we're just like, it's just information overload. And so I think we just want a little wrapped in blanketness.
Yeah. And just watch something on Netflix or whichever.
Right?
Whatever your poison is. We're almost at time. Maybe last minute takeaways for anyone who's listening and how they can reach you. Oh, did you hear?
Question?
Oh yeah, like just last minute takeaways if you have anyone listening for like branding or how to reach you. One or the other.
I
mean, because I was like so silent.
Right? I had to think. Really, I would say, like, if anybody's listening and you're feeling like you want to show up in the world, but you're not really sure, I'd love to hear from you and see how that can shift. I'm on all the social media platforms as @the Stef. Violet is in color because branding. I love having conversations. And if this, like, the mindset stuff speaks to you at all, I even have a hypnosis coming up for stress release for business owners. So reach out and I'll share a link with that. So that's what I'm working on this week, literally after this call.
Exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Stef.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our listeners, and a big thank you to United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And with that, everyone, remember your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable. Thank you, everyone.